Greetings, fellow nobility. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Foundation. Episode 3, Buying an Island. So what other resources can I export? I can export planks, and I'm going to start exporting planks once I'm above 20. Because we can treat planks as like, export material. And I'm going to start exporting meat once it goes over 50. And this is also that I can start afford the island and to move there. I don't have herbs, I don't have wine, I don't have polished stone, but we could unlock polished stone. So maybe that's worth doing just for the export alone. So if you go to the progression here, we can have a stonemason hut, and I will pay to unlock that. Now the stonemason hut is the first building which requires a commoner rather than a serf in order to operate. So I'm going to put the stonemason's hut right here. And then we'll be inadvertently promoting a villager to commoner as a result of getting the stonemason hut staffed. And then, in terms of resource, the stone warehouse is going to also contain polished stone, which is why I left that fourth slot empty, knowing that I was eventually going to get a stonemason. Advice: aspiration of the city. Finally, by yourself in the Great Hall, you spend a few minutes of silence thinking about your aspiration for the future of your village. We should all aspire to greatness, of course. And this is an advice about tracking a village aspiration. So, if you take a look at village aspirations, which is his trophy icon, you can see some of your aspirations. Reach a prosperity of 500, reach a prosperity of 500, and 50 rating with each estate, which is the hard design. Dedicated to labor, so 100 citizens or more in your village. Dedicated to labor hard, which is never generate revenue from trade routes. I've already done the tutorial, so that's impossible. Dedicated to the kingdom, which is to see the King's Pledge military mission, or the hard version, which is also selling swords, or clergy. I think I'm going to do, because we did vote for kingdom, is dedicated to the kingdom. It's probably not something I'm going to do within the scope of this stream, but I'll track the inspiration anyway, as that is success to be followed. Now, we are in a situation where in order to build this stonemason's hut, I need cloth. And I'm not actually producing cloth myself. I don't have the money to unlock the production chain for cloth at the moment. So we're kind of reliant upon trade. Basically, I need to build up a whole bunch of trade goods. Oh, and here comes the trader now. So this trader is going to check in, and we can track them so you can actually see the process. They come in from Northbury. They head to the stockpiles with things that they want to either buy or sell to. So we bought tools, and we sold berries, and now they're going to be on their way. And if you open this up, you can see that we sold 0 planks. Oh no, this month. We sold 0 berries, 11 meat, 25 planks, and bought probably tools. Bought 8 tools, and that was the trade. They did not, however, come with cloth, despite the fact that I've issued a buy order for cloth, because you don't control necessarily what they have in stock. So in this case, not only am I trying to get a stonemason hut, it might make sense for me to unlock the clothing here in order to start making at least wool and cloth myself, so that I can actually get the stonemason's hut for exporting for coin. A merchant is coming in. So this is likely someone from the labor estate offering me a quest. That would be my best guess. But we'll see in a minute. And yeah, the game is warning me that I am missing the cloth for construction. Noted. Wood for the bishop. The bishop is looking to build a few chapels along the pilgrimage routes. So I can accumulate 50 wood inside storage facilities and sell to the bishop. I'm not going to be working towards the bishop estate by design, so I'm going to say not interested, maybe next time, as I'm going to simply dedicate myself towards labor and kingdom. So even though it would be nice to get the coin from the bishop, I just want to be treating the clergy as a 0. Basically, we're going to be without monks and nuns within our city as a by design. Hey, Moxie, thank you for the resub. So let's go ahead and not only try to get stone, but also cloth, so that I can actually start to, you know, rely less heavily upon trade, because you end up buying those resources for a lot more than you could make them yourself. So in order to do that, we need a sheep farm. And I'm going to choose to put my sheep farm kind of like... So, taking a look here. We'll have reforestation here, right? This is essentially going to be where I reforest to regularly cut. I'll even have it arc that way. So now that we have that visible, I'm going to leave the overlay up. I want to put my sheep farm sort of at the edge of that reforested zone, so that it doesn't overlay. And I don't have any coins right now, so what I might need to do is to do yet another levy. They're not going to be happy about it. The happiness is actually quite low, and that's what I'm trying to avoid going forward. Because I don't want a max exodus of people that are upset. Also, you might notice that the residential zone is just about full. So I'm going to add another area for residences. And I'm also going to decide to get rid of this lumber camp. Not going to destroy it just yet. I want to empty the wood out of it. And instead relocate the lumber camp from where it was to another lumber camp over here. 2 lumber camps next to the sawmill. So once this lumber camp, all of the 12 wood in it has been pulled out, I'll delete it. And that will be, it will actually beautify the area, because right now, living near a lumber camp kind of sucks. Oh, we got a little bit of a windfall of coin. Where did that come from? I don't know. But let's hire 2 more villagers, because I know that we're going to want shepherds for the sheep. And then, eventually, we're going to want to turn that into... Turn the wool into cloth. Which I'll put here. I'm not yet going to do the clothing, because what I want to do is I want to treat the cloth as a building material for now, but I will put a warehouse there as well. So I'm going to hire all these refugees or migrants or whatever you want to call them, knowing that I'm about to roll out a whole bunch of employment opportunities. Oh, right, I got it from the levy. Yeah. Duh. As I said at the start of the stream, I did not get a lot of sleep last night. It was a bad sleep night for my toddler, so it was rough. I'm in rough shape. You might not be able to tell, but oh my god. Alright. Just a little bit more wood to be delivered. And to that end, I'm going to highly prioritize the wood camp over the other projects so that we can start getting more wood. And then the other thing I wanted to do here is to put a forester. And I'll just put the forester right here. This seems to be a sweet little spot. so we can start reforesting the woods that we're cutting down. This lumber camp is empty, so I'm going to destroy it. And you'll note that I get some of the tools back. So I got 1 tool back from destroying that lumber camp. It costs 2 to build. So it's not full refund, but it is partial refund and useful. A courier. Improving trades with Northbury. Thanks to your increasing trades, a large number of folks are now looking to settle in Northbury, yet the village struggles to feed the extra workforce. So, they're asking for me to accumulate 50 bread. I don't even make bread, so I'm going to tell them, no, I can't fulfill that. There's simply no way. All right, lumber camp. 1, 2, 3. The warehouse up here is all materials delivered, and this is going to be cloth warehouse, which is just short form for the whole clothing production chain. And now, I'm going to set up extraction for where my reforesting zone is. So we are going to be regrowing and cutting down the same trees as a renewable resource. I'm not going to put a weaver in here yet, because I don't even have wool yet. I'm going to get the wool first. Same is true of the cloth warehouse. I don't need to staff that at the moment. And all of these industries is so that I might be able to forward the island from a manor. Yep. Production chain and all. Here comes the trader from Northbury. I don't think there's much to sell this time around. A few berries here and there, but not much. Oh, the stone needs to be zoned? Yes. I did remove it. There we go. And actually, I might as well get rid of the rest of these trees while they're at it. Baja Blast! Thank you for the resub. Am I having fun? Oh, yes, of course. Alright, hiring a shepherd. Sheep are a little weird in that you can just spawn them with a click. This might change in the future, and I'm just going to spawn 4. You can keep doing it, but I'm just going to go up to 4. So now that we have that, resource is going to be for wool, cloth, clothing. And I'll put a transporter in. Alright, making this sheep farm a priority so we can get it a little bit sooner. There we go. Another shepherd. 1, 2, 3, 4 sheep. Sty, thanks for the gifted subs. Holy moly. Oh, I just ended up buying all the cloth that we need. And the reason is I didn't have a warehouse that allowed for it. So the trader here brought cloth this time, right? Because not all, they don't always, and they dropped the cloth into the cloth warehouse. Now, with that said, in the future, I am not going to buy cloth because I'm starting to make it myself. So I'm going to just use what I manufacture. And the stonemason's hut's built. All right. So what I wanted to do is to have a stonemason allow as a means to sell the polished stone as an export. And here's what I'm going to do. I need to pick a serf to promote to a commoner. And I'm going to choose Diego here. So all serfs need have not been met. And in order to upgrade him, I need faith. So let's go ahead and fill that need with a rustic church. So we'll have a door, a bell tower, and to make it, give it that like nice cross shape, I'll give 2 little wooden chapels. Not that it needs it, but I'll also add 2 benches and build. And this will fulfill the serfs' service needs, as their needs are not being met. Does the bell tower need to be a bit higher? Yeah, it actually does look like that. So let's go ahead and edit. And select the bell tower. This one here. So what I can do is I can just destroy the bell tower as an individual component of this. And go back to editing it. Put the bell tower in. And raise it up. That looks about right. And build. And that's the flexibility of these, the mechanics. This is, you can just stretch and design things however you want. It's very very flexible. So current priority right now is get our first commoners. Also, Ink, thank you for the gifted subs. So I eventually will get the bailiff and everything and get the island, but the commoners really need to come first. So I might as well just update the priority to reflect what I'm truly working on. And in order to do that, we need to fulfill their service needs. So it's a big old chain of things that need to happen prior. But we are starting to get wool and cloth. Well, wool. We're not making the cloth just yet. But what I'll do is I'll stockpile wool up to 200 here in this cloth warehouse. Oh, the berries in the extraction zone. Good point. I am very bad at remembering that. Thank you, chat, for saving me there. I would not have noticed until I bottomed out with berries. And let's hire a forester. I don't really care what kind of trees they plant, but you can choose specific trees. I think it's just cosmetic. So you are hired. I'm actually going to need 3 more unemployed, because there will be 2 weavers and 1 stonemason, and I only have 1 more person, so the next 2 immigrants will also be brought on. Running pretty smooth. Our prosperity progression is really going up too. The forester is very efficient. The ratio to foresters to woodcutters is probably something like 10 to 1-ish. So I have 6 woodcutters, so 1 forester is going to be plenty. As you can see, they're already putting down a whole bunch of saplings. And it doesn't need to be perfectly overlap, but basically my reforesting zone and my woodcutting zone like do overlap one another. So once this church is built, and I guess that's going to be the high priority construction project, we'll be able to supply faith to our serfs, and then they can be upgraded to commoners. And I guess this is a good time to talk about the benefits and the deficits of that. Commoners have increased needs. As the caste, I guess, of villager that you have, their needs will expand, their diets will expand, and they'll be harder to fulfill those requirements. So, while the game will allow you to upgrade all your serfs to commoners, it's not necessarily a good idea, because if you do that, you end up in a situation where you will have to feed and house you'll have to feed and house the commoners at a higher, value, if you will. And it will become ever more expensive. So you can do it for a little bit more tax money, but it's like I said, really not a good idea. All right, the rustic church is almost done. Just needs a bunch of wood for the bell tower. Here's a pretty good indicator of how quick the forester works. Daedora, thank you for the resub. Okay, all of the materials just got delivered. And the materials are variable, depending on like how large the project is, obviously. That hasn't been made obvious. So if I had a bigger bell tower or a larger church, it would be a lot more expensive. Tiers for people later. I wonder if the game actually shows you what tiers there are. I don't think it shows you without me having to spoil it. But the next tier is commoner, and it goes up from there. Alright, come on, builders. Build that tower. And now I have all of the people I need to fulfill the commoner roles that I've laid out so far. So I don't need any additional immigrants. There we go. Now they're building. Now, the game also mentioned interior area. And what that means here is all of the sections of this building are accessible if they connect together. So if I had like another large room here, it's valid because that sort of like this chapel hallway will act as a hallway. Where if it's standalone, without an extra door, it's not an accessible area. So you can have a church, like this. This is a valid design. And it will roughly double your capacity, or you can have it connect together through interior. So that is ultimately up to you whether you want like one large building or a compound or something in between. The game's really flexible about that. So all the parts will snap together, and they can... often, a lot of the parts will also scale. So the side chapels here, I could have had really high if I wanted to, right? You know, there's a lot of flexibility. Of course, this also increases maintenance costs. So the problem with building this church is it does have a much, much, much higher maintenance cost than really anything else in our territory. But it is now done. No, just about done. Yeah, it's done. The resources missing is incorrect. I think it was because it thought I was editing it. So now that they're attending service, we're in a situation where we can actually upgrade our first commoners. And there's a few different ways to go about this. Oh my god, these houses are on top of one another. And the way I want to do it is I want to promote someone in this house, because this is one of the large... Actually, I'm going to do it in this house. This house is going to be our next tier house. So if you have a commoner in this house, it will upgrade to medium quality housing. So, Diego, again, you are going to... You're a transporter. You are going to become a commoner. And I am going to put you to work in this stonemason. Once he's unemployed. They don't get fired immediately from their last employment. It takes a second. So I think he was a transporter for the wood planks and tools. Or no, maybe for the meat and berries. No, wood planks, tools, or... Yeah. He was a transporter for... I'm actually not rightly sure. Yeah, I think for the wood planks and warehouse. So I'll replace someone there. And then Diego is going to be moved here. Oh no, he was never fired. Okay, so I'm going to hire him to the... Let's undo what I just did, because I did it wrong. Diego is now our stonemason. Alright, that also allows... Ooh, he moved. I don't know what house he moved into. But he switched... well, one way to figure out is go to Diego. And... he doesn't currently have a home? That's fine. Then the other is I'm going to choose 2 weavers. So I'm going to pick... whatever your name is. Ether. Or something. You're now a commoner. And you... were a hunter. But you are now a cloth maker. Which means I'll need to replace the hunter, whichever hunter camp he was at, with the new serf. And then lastly, I'm going to pick someone from this home. You are also going to be one of the weavers. So you were working as a carpenter, and now you are a weaver. And in a moment, it will update their place of employment, and then I'll be able to replace the serfs in the empty work positions. So as you can see, Patricia here is finishing up, meaning that she's like dropping off the last of her resources or just like wrapping up for the day, so that she can essentially quit being a sawmill carpenter and become a weaver. So it just takes a minute. And we can actually follow her if you're wondering. Oh no, she's standing around. Lazy. But one of the other things is now they have an entertainment need where they want berry brew, beer, or wine, and they also want clothing or common wares or candles. So commoners require more fulfillment than serfs, meaning getting all your serfs to be commoners is not really in your advantage because then you have to supply them with a lot more stuff and the supply chains get strained. In my opinion. So there's the hunter rehired and the carpenter rehired, and now there's no unemployment within our little home. Okay. They are rewarding me for my first church, giving me 10 clergy influence. So the way to do this is you can spend your influence like you can spend coin. So initially during the prospect phase, which does not require coin, I can unlock like monastery for both nuns and monks, and then splendor, walls, and decorations. But then afterwards, you have to level up your rating. So if I wanted, for instance, notable kingdom, I would need to build up my kingdom rating at least to 5 to be able to unlock military forts, ramparts, and these edicts here. And we'll get into that a little bit later once I start courting the individual estates, which I'm not ready to do just yet. So now we're making polished stone. And I think I am going to get one more stone mason hut. And I'll add another stonemason making polished stone. So I'm going to want to bring in one more immigrant. So to that end, I'll choose Ursilda to become the next stonemason. The sheep look happy? Yeah, they're tended to. I'm also going to hire one extra person because I'm seeing that we aren't reforesting quite as fast as I'd like. So let's open up the overlay for zoning and then build a forester here, working on this stretch. So now it's warning me about desirability. So here is our first tier 2 house. Because it has a commoner resident, which would be Diego, or in Porticia and Ether. Actually, all 3 of them are commoners. It is now a different style home. You know, like wood over thatch. Because it is in a desirable neighborhood, it is in a beautification area, and has a commoner resident. And likewise, Ursilda, you're now a stonemason. And then the serf I just hired will fulfill your role. And all of this, for if you're wondering, is so that I can afford to buy territory. I'm just trying to like add critical capacity for exporting resources. So here's the other forester, done. And then the extra builder. So now everyone's employed. Good. Because we have a happiness nearing 100%, I think I'm going to do another mandate of a levy. And I am now levying both my serfs and my commoners. And commoners will pay more, right? Because they are essentially more well off than your serfs. So there is an advantage to leveling them up if you can supply them with whatever goods and needs that they have. If I had to choose between these 2 sections, maybe this section here, as I think I'll be able to build a bridge that way. So the current priority now is to relocate the manor to the island, as you all had voted on. And to that end, I will need a little bit more gold for the common path bridge upgrade here. Oh, no, I have the gold for that. Okay. Neat. I wonder if it could be like... Let me try something. I'm gonna actually try this. Oh my god. The amount of planks required is obscene. I was curious whether I would be able to span, like, a gap like this. But it is probably cost prohibitive. I mean, I could, but it would be rough in terms of cost. That's 100 planks? 100 planks is, like, doable, but I might want a second sawmill. I have 34 in stock, for reference. But I don't really like the look of that, so I'm gonna go with the low bridge. Because I don't really like... There aren't, there's not my own villagers. Well, that's equal cost. Hmm. Okay, let's try the shortest span. Yeah, it does not want to be on the cliffside. As you can see, that is not a valid ingress point, I guess. Unfortunately, well, I'm glad I didn't buy this side, because that would have been really expensive. Question to you all. Should I still build on the island? So I could afford the planks. I would just need to ramp up carpentry and woodcutting, which is totally fine. It might slow down other things. Or alternatively, I could abandon this territory to decrease my upkeep per cost and keep it kind of where it is. I don't really care either way. I'll just have you guys vote. It looks like you still want to build on the island. That's legit. So... I think that looks the nicest. It's a little bit more expensive than the other bridge that I had queued. There, that's 100. That's 110, and I think that's even better. Okay, let's do it. Build on the island. Newcomers! I'm hiring them on because we are going to need more timber. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a lumber camp over here. So let's show the zoning areas for hunting. And then I want a lumber camp here to cut down the trees on this bank. So I think what I'll do is I'll expand my hunting zone. There was a bit of a desire path here, and I'm going to include the hunting zone into the new area here. So they don't cross the road, essentially. And then I'll do an extraction zone on the other side, including the road. So all this is trees to be cut down. And I think that will look nice. Now what's interesting is I don't have, this road technically goes out of my territory, but it doesn't really matter because I'm not prohibited from walking on it. So we'll get that lumber camp built. And that means that the transporters for this wood planks and tools warehouse will have to travel a little bit further. So I'm going to hire one transporter for that because they're going to have to go fetch the wood from way out there. Rather than to build an individual warehouse here because I don't want to store the wood here by design. So we're getting that bridge going. And it's built section by section, as you can tell. So it's kind of nice. You'll actually see it like get built over time. And then I can... so the bridge over the fish, is that an issue? It is not. What I can do in this case is for the fish... I actually don't even have fishing yet. But I'll unlock it. is the fishery just needs to be built with the dock, some of the dock on the shore, and with fish in the zone. So, like, for instance, if there wasn't... I don't have any shoreline without fish in the zone, so it's a hard example, but yeah, if this territory here didn't have fish, it would still say invalid position, because it doesn't have fish available to be fished. But I can add fishing. I don't need to add fishing right now, because I'm doing okay supplying the food, the berries, for now. But what will end up happening is the berries will be... My population is starting to outgrow just simple berries, so that will have to change at some point. Yeah, maybe I'll add fishing just ahead of time. So let's put a fishing dock here and hire one more person for that. Now, in terms of the granary, I am going to empty out the berry stock here into the original berry stock and then put fish as part of this granary for now. Meaning, it's really not specialized at the moment, so I'm just going to call it granary again. And I'll prioritize the fishing and the lumber mill. And then once we start to have a source of fish, I can add another market stall here for a third food source. That way, if we run out of one, we still have two spare. It's also worth noting, if you want to strategically annex resources that have berry bushes, that's a really easy way to feed yourself early game, because berries and berry gatherers are relatively cheap. Eventually, pivoting towards bread is way more scalable, because you can actually plant berries with clergy, with nuns and monks, but generally speaking, you can't plant berries otherwise, and we're not going the kingdom route, so that's not a route I'm going to be choosing. But it's really easy to plant wheat and turn it into flour, and then turn the flour into bread. Thank you for tuning in to Foundation, which originally streamed live on Twitch January 29th. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching, and a special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow villagers.